students, I hope all of you are doing good. In today's class, we are going to deal with the last part of the lesson, language of chemistry. Before moving into the class, let's do a small recap of this lesson. First of all, we started with symbols, right? So, what is a symbol? A symbol is the abbreviation of the name of the element. I hope you all remember the three ways through which the symbols are derived. Next, we saw about formula. So, what is a formula? A formula represents a molecule of an element or a compound. Then we talked about valency. The combining capacity of an element with other elements is called its valency. So some elements can have valencies more than one. So they are named as variable valencies. The formula of a binary compound can be obtained by transposing the valency of the elements. Then we discussed radicals. What are they? Unlike compounds, radicals carry a charge over them. The valency of the radical is the same as the charge on it without a sign. Then we started writing a chemical equation using symbols and formulae. So there are three steps involved in writing a chemical equation. The first one is writing a skeleton. This can be done with the symbols and formulas of the reactants and products. Second one is balancing the equation. We all know this can be done based on the law of conservation of mass, which states that the mass of the reactant should be equal to the mass of the products. Now, in today's class, we are going to see the final step in writing a chemical equation. So, let's start today's class. A balanced equation tells us the number of atoms and molecules present in a reactants and products. But how do we know the states of the reactants and products, the conditions in which the reaction will take place, and the color of the substances? So here comes the last step in writing a chemical equation, which is making a chemical equation more informative. So in order to make a chemical equation more informative, we have to remember three things. Let's see it one by one. Let me show you one example. So, what is this? This is a balanced chemical equation, right? So, apart from the reactants and products, now what you see? Yes, it has a temperature above the arrow and one more substances below the arrow. So, the temperature denotes the conditions which is favorable for the reaction. So, the temperature, the pressure comes under the condition. For example, some reactions will take place under high temperature, some reaction will take place under low temperature, some reaction will be carried out in a dark room, some reactions will be carried out in the light. These are all comes under conditions. And then there is one substances denoted below the arrow, right? And it denotes a catalyst. So what is a catalyst? Catalyst is a substance that generally speed up a reaction without itself undergoing any change, which means a catalyst is added to any reaction mixture in order to speed up the reaction, but it will not undergo any transformation. So this is a catalyst. So here is the first thing, mentioning the conditions and the catalyst. So while mentioning the condition and catalyst, one has to remember these things. The condition under which a reaction takes place and the catalyst needed are mentioned at the arrow. So the condition and the catalyst should be mentioned at the arrow. The conditions will be mentioned above the arrow and the catalyst will be mentioned below the arrow. I repeat this once again. The condition under which a reaction takes place and the catalyst needed are mentioned at the arrow. The conditions will be mentioned above the arrow and the catalyst will be mentioned below the arrow. So let's move on. Here is the next example. Here you will see a symbol G with the reactants and the product, right? which means the states of the reactant and product, which denotes the states of the reactant and product. So here is the next thing, mentioning the states of the reactants and products. So what are the states of a matter? So these are the states of a matter: solid, liquid and gas. These can be denoted in a chemical reaction like small s in between brackets for solid state. Small l in between bracket will denote liquid state. Small g in between bracket denotes gaseous state. So here in this reaction, the reactants and products all are in gaseous state. Apart from this, there is one more thing. Aqueous solution, which means a solution which has water in it. For example, salt dissolved in water is the aqueous solution of salt. This can be denoted by small a and small q in between a bracket. So here is one more example. Here you see, in this reaction also, all the reactants and products are in gaseous state, and under ignition only this reaction will be carried out. So in order to make this reaction undergo this reaction, we should ignite this mixture. Okay, let's move on. In this equation, apart from states and condition, what else do you observe? Yes, you can see the colors written, right? So this is the last thing, mentioning the name and color of the substances if needed. So these are the three things you have to remember. So in the first example, you can see the calcium hydroxide, this is an aqueous solution, and the carbon dioxide is a gas. So it doesn't need any condition in order to carry it out. Since there is no condition or any catalyst mentioned at the arrow, it doesn't need any condition or a catalyst in order to carry out. So it gives calcium carbonate which is in solid state, and this one has milky white color, and along with calcium carbonate it yields water which is in liquid state. So in the next example, you see two portions of magnesium which is in solid state reacts with one portion of carbon dioxide which is in gaseous state. Under burning condition, it will give two portion of magnesium oxide which is in solid state, and this is white in color. Along with this, it gives carbon, one portion of carbon, and this is black in color. See, this simple chemical equation can give more information, right? So that's all for today's class. Let's do a quick summary. In order to write a chemical equation, one should first write the skeleton. This can be done using the symbols and formulas. Secondly, one should balance the equation. This can be done with numbers at the coefficients of the reactants and products, right? Thirdly, one should make the chemical equation more informative by mentioning the conditions and catalyst at the arrow. The condition should be mentioned above the arrow and the catalyst should be mentioned below the arrow. The next one is mentioning the states of the reactants and products. And the final one is mentioning the name and the color of the substances if needed. I hope you all understood till this. So these are your assignment questions. I want you all to write the chemical equation which should be, first you should have to write a chemical skeleton, then you have to balance the equation, then you have to make the equation more informative. I want you all to write this in your notebook, chemistry notebook. So the first question is, copper reacts with oxygen to produce copper 2 oxide. I hope you all remember how to write the copper 2 oxide formula. So this reaction doesn't need any condition or catalyst. And the second one is sodium oxide reacts with water to produce sodium hydroxide. So this also doesn't need any condition or catalyst. Make sure to balance these equations. And the final one is nitrogen reacts with hydrogen at 400 to 450 degrees Celsius and 200 atmospheric pressure. So these are the conditions. The condition should be mentioned above the arrow. And in the presence of iron as a catalyst. So here iron acts as a catalyst and the catalyst should be mentioned below the arrow to form liquid ammonia. Here the ammonia is the product and it is liquid in form, right? And nitrogen and oxygen are gas. Make sure to mention all this and make sure to balance this equation. Thank you, students.